feel free to give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. The like meter of this video will dictate whether I do more of these or not. Hey everyone, how's it going? Where are we? Long story short, I've completely rearranged my studio and film space. I actually have a picture to show you guys right here. I mean, this kind of came out of just sort of both just a spontaneous feeling, and also I did have my reliable studio monitors go out, and in the process of trying to secure some new ones, I was just like, I need some fresh life brought into this space, not just for work and not just for making music for my clients, but also for filming content for you guys. For those of you that are new here, my name is Jacob Williams. I am a professional music producer and composer, and by the time this video goes up, there should be some content on my new channel, which is just my name. It's just me. This is a place where I want to post more content that's just more fun and more music making ish. Like, so if that's more your guys' speed, if you want to see some just other types of stuff that I want to do without taking away from the sort of vibe that we got going on here, breaking down songs and checking things out together. If you want more just silly fun stuff having to do with the world of music, go ahead and check it out. I should have a couple of posts over there by the time you guys see this. Now, moving on to the elephant in the comment section, or in the potential comments. I wanted to go ahead and send just a quick apology to those of you who are patrons, and here are my lovely patrons. I wanted to make sure that you guys were well compensated for what happened. Essentially, I went to go film my second big reaction of the week, which was the album No Shape by Perfume Genius, which we're going to be talking about here in a minute. And I had just a crazy slew of technical malfunctions that ranged from my camera just not, it was just the autofocus was just acting strange, and then also when I went to go, I was willing to overlook that because I'm not a perfectionist. I just want to make good content for you guys and content that you guys like. I went to go put it on my hard drive to transfer it to my other computer because I edit on my other computer, and it just totally got rid of the file and corrupted it. Like, the file was there, it was just 0 bytes, and I literally couldn't open it, couldn't do anything to it. I already removed it from this computer, so again, it's on me to sort of come up with more secure ways of doing things. The whole thing was I had already filmed the entire video, so it's kind of hard for me to like react again or do like a first reaction again. You just can't do that. So I was like, okay, I need to come up with a solution. I know that there have been albums you guys have been wanting me to check out that I'm already familiar with, ranging from 100 Gex to the recent Lady Gaga to, I mean, the list just goes on. Even Reputation by Taylor Swift is like one of my favorite pop albums. So I figured I'm going to take this thing that happened that prevented me from giving you guys something valuable, and I'm going to do something good with it. And that's, we're going to make a whole new section on this channel where it's me giving a perspective on, or even think of it like a retrospect, right? Like, I'm just looking back at a piece of work, whether it's a single, whether it's an album. Instead of doing a live reaction and a live dissection, I'm just going to give you what my producer ears hear from this, what's my overall opinion on it, and it's going to be more of a review, if anything. Even with you guys, I've been wanting to talk about some of my favorite albums, and I didn't really have a spot to put that on this channel, but I'm hoping if you guys like the way that this video pans out, maybe we can do more of these for other albums that I can't really just react again to. You know, I can look back on them, but I can't really give you the gawk or the big like wow that I could just hearing something for the first time. Anyways, I feel horrible about what happened with our precious lost to hard drive corruption No Shape reaction, but we're gonna make a good thing out of it, and I'm gonna tell you guys my thoughts just here just in this space instead. So yeah, first off, I loved, just going into it, I loved the album cover. I thought it was very thought-provoking. It was different. It actually gave me very avant-garde vibes just looking at the thing. And in the video, I remember specifically saying that this It's labeled as experimental pop, so I had like some sort of expectation going into it. I was expecting not your sort of status quo when it comes to pop music or even alternative or indie. From what I saw based on my research, Perfume Genius is usually lumped into the indie and alternative pop kind of crowd. Upon listening to this album as a whole, I kind of heard that he's kind of his own thing. He kind of does his own thing on this, and it's in my opinion, the album started off really strong, with songs like Otherside and Slip Away. I liked that with Otherside there was kind of this low-key element of lo-fi vocals with like lo-fi sort of compression and just not a whole lot going on other than just a handful of effects. They would build into these pop explosions that I like to call them, just these big moments of grandeur with like a bunch of synths, a bunch of swells, and then it would go back down to the quiet mood before going into the next track after just a couple of them, just a handful. So Otherside felt to me like just a big intro to the album. And then moving on to track 2, Slip Away, I really enjoyed kind of the change of pace. This song had more of an alternative rock flavor to it. The drums felt very push-pull with the bass, and in my opinion, this was the most solid song on the album because it gave us just a driving emotion behind the song, also coupled with some experimental factors that set it apart from the rest. After the song, unfortunately, the album was kind of lost on me a little bit, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that more so in terms of taste. Some songs on this album just felt a little like they were missing something. Like track 3, Just Like Love, felt like it just needed a little something, just a little bit of energy. But what I did like across the board for the rest of this album, going from track 3 really all the way to the last one, especially on the last song, I really wanted to celebrate and sort of bring some attention to Perfume Genius's emotion and unique emotion, I gotta add, in his voice. Although it's not really my style and not really something that I personally resonate with, it felt very genuine, and it felt like it came from a place of wanting to explore different sounds. And some of those different sounds came through really great on songs like Sides and on Choir, especially on Choir, which Choir felt pretty strange to me, just hearing it in the midst of all of these songs where it kind of was the standout track. It did stick out the most from the entire album. Later on, after some spoken word passages and more deadpan vocals, everything sort of started to glue back together and lead us into track 9, Die For You. On top of that, something that you guys might know based on what I've mentioned before is usually acoustic songs or songs that are a little more unplugged, a little more intimate, are kind of lost on me sometimes. I usually look for some of the more noisy, more built up kind of tracks just because I like the feeling of unison, like you have all these instruments with different frequencies working together to make an overall vibe. Sometimes if a song's a little too simple, it gets a little kind of strange for me, or a little just kind of, yeah, you know, it's okay. But I did really like the song Valley and how the overall vibe of it went from this really sort of indie space into almost, I would label it as folk or country. Some things on this album made me feel like the picture that is on Perfume Genius's Spotify bio, like you're just out in the woods with your family, just thinking to yourself about big topics and not knowing how to articulate those topics unless you put them into song form. And that's kind of what this album gave me. Actually, a big theme that kind of dawned on me while I was listening to it is the album's called No Shape, and none of these songs really conform to any sort of formula or any sort of specific idea on what the music should sound like. Like, it felt very open-ended, and that's something I can say pretty much across the board. One song that I think was the biggest example of that was track 4, Go Ahead. And the reason why I'm bringing a lot of attention to that song is we had a very jarring, unique time signature on this song. This song was not in 4/4, it was not in 3/4, and even if it was, there was some math going on in between to make the bars definitely a lot more progressive than this artist has led on for the rest of the album. I mean, I was listening to it and I was trying to keep count. I was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Like I was literally sitting here trying to articulate this jazz tempo, going Oh, that's right. I'm listening to a pop album. And again, you guys can label this album whatever you wish to. Just I went into this going, okay, experimental pop. It's going to be pop with a bunch of experimentation. Just some of the vibes on this album didn't quite sit well with me, but I can tell that it does for some of you out there to have recommended it to me, and I could see why. The most emotional performance on this album, other than the first two tracks, has got to be the last track, Alan, where we almost have these strings and pads making this big, for lack of a better phrase, Walt Disney-esque, Pixar-esque soundtrack soundscape. And Perfume Genius's vocals are vibrating with those notes, and that swell so well. It really does work quite well, and I would say that coupled with the first couple of tracks and Valley are probably among my favorites. And I can appreciate some of the turns that this album took, where he would blend styles that you wouldn't think would really work together. And I can definitely see how, if this is a genre and style of music that you actively listen to and that you're involved in, how this is probably one of the albums that is the pinnacle of that sort of sound set. I would say overall, if you're looking for something where the production is dense and sometimes not, like if it has a lot of dynamics to it, because this album does, it has a lot of peaks and a lot of lows, and I think if that is something that you're looking for in an album, this is the perfect fit. And if you want an artist that doesn't conform to any specific style, because at the end of the day, when you put on an album, there is a similar DNA flowing through those tracks, usually. And I would say on this album, it's really hard to pick out what that DNA is. And I think that's the point. I think that the standouts are definitely Otherside, Slip Away, Alan, Valley, and Choir, with some of the more troubling moments being maybe some of the vocal performances on Choir and some of the stuff on songs like Braid and Wreath, just not really my thing, but I can tell that it's probably something for other people that listen to this kind of music. With that being said, I'd be open to check out more Perfume Genius in the future, preferably for my main form of content. I really wanted to thank you guys for your patience and thank you guys for your time. If you like this breakdown and you want to see more of this done for albums that I've heard in the past, feel free to give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. The like meter of this video will dictate whether I do more of these or not. And if you guys don't like it, we'll stick primarily to the reactions, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and firm apologies to my patrons. I will not let you down again.